Hey everyone, it's Types, and today I'm going to be making a tier list of all the Series 1 or Pool 1 cards in Marvel Snap. Pretty much all the cards before collection level 200 or so. And so if you're a newer player or you don't play a lot, you need to watch out for all these cards because you want to play the good ones, watch out for the good ones, and try not to play the bad ones. Realistically, most of these are playable, but there's certainly some you want to stay away from, including Abomination. Not an abomination of a card. Yeah, that was a trash joke. But maybe it's a D tier card. Sees some use in Patriot decks, but that's about it. America Chavez, A tier. She increases your consistency and is just very strong in a lot of decks. So player in most decks, I'd say, early on. And then you'll start cutting her from more and more decks, but she's very solid. Angel, trash card. Don't play this. Maybe in destroy decks, but it doesn't really have much benefit to any decks. Angela here, easy A tier card. She can get up to 2/6 if you play lots of cards at her location, so I'd highly recommend playing her in almost every deck as well early on. Maybe not Destroy, but pretty much everything else. You see Ant-Man here, another, this is A tier, this is B tier. If you're playing a Kazar deck, definitely play Ant-Man. If you're playing an ongoing deck, definitely play Ant-Man. If you're playing anything else, probably don't play Ant-Man, but you can get up to a solid 1/4 if you fill it at location, but sometimes you don't fill a location and it's not great. Apocalypse, probably C tier, no, B tier. Makes discard decks work. If you don't play discard early on, discard's bad, but then once you reach like pool 3, you'll start getting more and more discard cards. Notably, it's really good with, what is it? I think it's Dracula's the best combo with Apocalypse, allowing you to get up to 20 power with this card, but realistically early on it's underwhelming, so I guess I'll drop it C tier. It's only really useful in like one deck. Now, Armor, easy S tier. It protects all cards from this location being destroyed, including your opponent's, meaning that you can stop your opponent from doing fancy destroy combos. You can also protect your own cards from things that want to destroy your cards, so if your opponent's trying to destroy your 1-drops or all your big cards, just armor it up and bam, you're invincible. It's absolutely absurd, and it probably needs to be nerfed. So yeah, definitely play armor in pretty much every deck. Bishop here is a B tier card. Can get really big if you play lots of cards, but worse stat line than Angela most of the time. So if you're playing Mission Negative or Sarah or Silver Surfer, play Bishop. Aside from that, those are all late game. If you're playing Kazar Zoo, maybe play it as well, but I don't know. The Blade here, we see another B tier card, 1/3, so just a good stat line. Can be very expensive to play because you have to lose a card from your hand, though, which can be brutal sometimes, so be careful with this card. This is definitely a card you can make mistakes with. Don't just play it whenever you have it, but it's an okay card. Its payoff can be really good, but a lot of the time it's just very inconsistent and destroys your whole plan. Blue Marvel, another B tier card. Powers up your other cards, which is nice, but underwhelming stat line, so be very careful with this card and make sure you get enough value out of it, but it can be very good, especially in some of those flood decks where you just want lots of cards to play. Cable, probably D tier. Allows you to just see a card from your opponent's deck and put it into your hand. Is it good? Yeah, but its stat line's not that good. So you can kind of know what your opponent's playing, kind of get a bigger hand, but overall, pretty underwhelming. Captain America here, another B tier card, very similar to Ant-Man. It's a bit more reliable, but a bit more commitment as well because it's more expensive. Carnage, one of the best cards in the game because it counters those bad locations that give you bad cards. So that's amazing. Also, your opponent can do the same thing. Fill your board up with cards you don't want. Carnage just destroys them. Also, it's very strong in the destroy package and can be very easily abused with stuff like play Squirrel Girl, Ironheart, things that just get a ton of really cheap cards into play. Carnage can become really big for almost no cost. Colossus here you see is a solid card, but it's it's nothing interesting and nothing particularly special. I don't really know I'd play this in a deck. I don't know. It's okay, I guess, but it doesn't add anything that is particularly interesting. But if you're looking for that tech card Colossus is maybe an okay one to consider. A better tech card, though, is definitely Cosmo, who's the top of S tier because he stops all unreveal abilities, most notably your opponents, meaning that they can't do their fancy combos. You might have to read them, but more than likely, they'll have filled up their board in certain spots, and so you have a good idea where they're going to play their unreveal abilities. There's Cosmo, and then completely shut down the game plan. Also, you can turn off your own non-reveal abilities, which is okay from time to time. Generally, though, it's not good for you, but it's just one of the best cards in the game. And if you're playing Kazar Zoo or any other ongoing ability deck, definitely play Cosmo. And in any other deck, you probably play it as well. Now, Cyclops, pretty trash. I don't know why you'd ever play this card. Even a Patriot, like it's bad. So don't play it. Deathlock here, a much better card, solid B tier card, because it allows you to destroy some of your own cards, which can be good, and also has a solid stat line. Generally, it just is a very consistent card that works as long as you hit it by turn 3, maybe turn 4. You can drop it. You won't end up actually destroying anything. So very solid. I definitely recommend this card. Devil Dino, another amazing card. Top of A. It's so good. It can become like 513, 515, maybe 511, but get up to really big double-digit powers as a 5 cost, which is amazing. It's almost always bigger than Abomination. So you just want to, if you want a 5-drop, play Devil Dinosaur. If you want a deck to build on, play Devil Dinosaur. It's so big, so strong, and pretty consistent as well. Doctor Strange here, very underwhelming. It moves cards to the location it's at, but like quite frankly, it's not very consistent. Oftentimes it misses what you want. It doesn't really do the combos you want. So Doctor Strange is just D tier. Domino, another bad card. Probably I'll put her in F tier. She gets drawn to your hand turn 2 every game, but she's not that strong. That's all she does. So I don't really know why you'd play her. Maybe Agatha if you're playing that late game, which is admittedly a bad deck as well. So yeah, F tier. I don't think you should play her. Electra, probably C tier. Pretty underwhelming, but she can give a sizable power swing for just 1 power, so 1 cost. So she's okay. Put her in C tier, but you won't play her later on. But in a Zoo deck to counter Zoo decks, she's solid. Enchantress, a very solid counter card. Well, somewhere in B. I'm going to move Blade down because Blade's not very consistent. Enchantress, though, is also not very consistent, but she turns off ongoing abilities, most notably stuff like Kazar and Blue Marvel, Captain America, stuff like that. Turn them down, and so all of a sudden you just win because your opponent's whole idea doesn't work. Also can turn off Devil Dinosaur, Armor, super insane, counter some of the best cards in the game. So I'd highly recommend playing Enchantress. But if you feel like you can't fit it into your deck or you're playing lots of ongoing abilities yourself, maybe don't. Forge here, though, very underwhelming card. I'm going to put in, I missed, F tier. It's pretty bad. It provides a little bit of power, but it's not a particularly amazing stat line. And it often just is hard to control in the way you want. You can sometimes get a big, what cards double? Double Black Panther. You can double Deadpool, Multiple Man, and Human Torch, but don't play this card. Maybe if you want to do something super fancy, but I wouldn't recommend it. Gamora, she's an okay 5-drop, maybe C tier. She can get kind of big, but she's kind of consistent. Groot, don't play Groot ever. Maybe better than Cyclops and Angel, and getting a minor buff. But if you feel like you want to go with the Guardians deck, I guess play Groot, but otherwise don't. Hawkeye, an okay 1-drop, maybe mid C. But actually, no, Hawkeye's not good. Hawkeye's D tier. He can get to moderately large power at 1/3, but that's not that impressive. Heimdall, the move card in the game, essentially, because it moves all your cards. It's the only moving 6-drop, but it's not that good. It's C tier. It's the reason why move decks work, but it's also why they're bad because it's just not good enough. So C tier, you play it in any move deck you play, but move decks aren't good. So C. Hulk here, we see an okay card, very solid stat line, probably B tier. He belongs in some decks early on. It doesn't have synergy with much of anything though, so just a B tier. Maybe actually no, I'm gonna have to move this down to to C tier because he doesn't get quite enough power a lot of the time. So like 12 is certainly obviously very good, but is he good enough? I don't think so. You see Hulkbuster, and this is also not that good. Kind of like Forge. It's probably less consistent, but stronger. Again, though, not that good. Maybe D tier. We see Iron Fist, another move card. This is a good move card. It's not that good. So maybe, I guess I'll put it in D tier as well. A lot of the move cards are just not very good, unfortunately. Ironheart here. She's okay. She's pretty good, actually. I'll put her maybe B. She buffs up your other cards, but notably, an on-reveal deck, she's just amazing because you double down on it, and all of a sudden you got a ton of power across the board. She's also 0 power, which sometimes can be really good because you can destroy her for no downside. Iron Man, absolutely insane card, doubling your power at their location. Actually, no, I'm going to move it. It belongs here with Iron Man and Captain America. Very similar to those cards, but not like nothing particularly special about Iron Man. We see Jessica Jones here. She's a very solid 4-drop. If you want a 4-drop to play in your deck, play her. I was going to put her in A. Does she belong in A? Yeah, she's very techable into a lot of decks. She's just super strong. She doesn't limit your plays too much either. She's consistently 4-8, which is just one of the best stat lines in the game. That's probably stretching it, but it's quite solid. Isn't in the range of Shang-Chi. It's just very good. So play Jessica Jones in probably a lot of your earlier decks. Kazar here, another A-tier card. He's playing your own Kazar Zoo deck, and then you can also pair with Ultron, but that's later in a very, very small deck as well. But Kazar Zoo is just amazing. Obviously very vulnerable to Killmonger. So probably don't play it too much in Pool 2 and in Pool 2 specifically. You can play in Pool 3 some though, but Kazar is very strong. It's the same as Blue Marvel, except a better stat line. Only buffs 1-drops, but you're only going to want to play 1-drops, so Kazar, easy card to put in A tier here. Claw, an okay card, another one of those ongoing cards. Maybe C tier though. Allows you to buff up a different lane, the lane to your right. Very specific. Is it good? Yeah. Is it great? No. Korg here, an underwhelming disruption card, probably D tier. Oh my gosh. Korg here though, able to disrupt your opponent, but not very consistently. Also has a tiny bit of synergy with Darkhawk, but Darkhawk's not that good. So yeah, Korg's pretty underwhelming. You see Kraven here. Yeah, this is another move card, and it's an okay move card. I'm going to put it in B tier. No, I'll put it in C. It can get to okay power levels, but I'll put it in like top C, I guess. It's not that. No, I'll put it like mid C. As I said, move decks just aren't very good, so Kraven doesn't really see much use. Lady Sif here, she's amazing. She is the discard card. She like makes the discard archetype. I mean, Apocalypse also kind of does, but Lady Sif becomes so important later on. She's so crucial, definitely very strong. With her own power, though, she's not that good. She's a lot of combo stuff, and you can miss that, so beat her. Lizard, an okay card, not too much to say about it. Put next to Enchantress. Remind you, combo with Enchantress sometimes, but Lizard, not too much to say. Mantis, trash card. Don't really play this card. You should not play this card, probably. I put it in a few decks, but it's inconsistent, outclassed by a lot of stuff as well. So, yeah, I probably don't play this card. We see Medusa. She's also underwhelming, very limited, but she's playable. I'll put her in bottom of D. I think she should be played more than she is, but she's also pretty underwhelming a lot of the time. We see Misty Knight. This card's okay. It doesn't. and Patriot. That's about it. So she's probably like top of F. That's not that good. Moon Girl, amazing card, amazing card. Not as good as Devil Dino. Maybe bottom of A. Put it above those other 4/4s. Moon Girl, very good because you can duplicate Devil Dinos, max out your hand for Devil Dinos. You can also duplicate She-Hulks and a few other things. So Moon Girl can be amazing. I recently featured her in a deck with Devil Dinosaur, She-Hulk, Quinjet, allowing you to get absurd amounts of power in the last turn of the game. She's just insane. Morph here, kind of bad card. Very underwhelming, very inconsistent. I guess top of F. Not that good though. Maybe bottom of D. Let me see. Mr. Fantastic. Ooh, an interesting card here. An ongoing card allowing you to output power at different locations. She's playing a variety of decks. I guess I'll put top of B. She's playing a bunch of things, but isn't amazing in any of them. I'll probably B. It just has a lot of good synergies right now. Mr. Sinister, solid card. Not too vulnerable to anything. Maybe top of C. Nothing amazing though. Multiple Man, the iconic move card, that doesn't work very consistently. So yeah, this is like C tier. Namor, another card that I think is somewhat iconic for being not very good. Namor struggles to do much and is actually outclassed by Attuma. Much easier to obtain than Attuma, but still outclassed most of the time. So Namor is not in bottom of F, but Namor is like middle of D, I think, right around there. I'm gonna actually switch Iron Fist and Doctor Strange. We see Nightcrawler. This is another amazing card. In my opinion, this is top of A. Play this in every deck. Honestly, I used to put Nightcrawler in every deck. I don't put it in every deck now, but I put it in probably 3/4. It's so good, so versatile, and 100% one of the best pull-on cards in the game. We see Nova here. Really interesting. Actually going to get nerfed to a 1/1, but it doesn't matter like ever, so I don't know why they're doing it. But still a top of B. It gets destroyed, it just buffs all your cards. It's so good with Killmonger, so good with Carnage, so good with Deathlock. It makes the Destroy archetype, in my opinion. Well, Carnage makes the Destroy archetype. The Destroy archetype's super good, so I'd highly recommend you play it. Mess around with it a little. Play maybe Deathlock, Carnage, Nova in your early decks, but then the Destroy package gets better and better, and then you can mess around with it, put it in with other decks like Flood. You can combine Flood and Destroy for some really interesting combos. Odin, a really big card here. It's probably mid B. Let's see. I guess I'll put it. I'm not sure where to put it. Maybe somewhere around here. Odin can be very good if you play it with probably Ironheart and White Tiger. Those are the main combos. This was Wong. You can get some pretty crazy stuff. I think I saw a game where someone got 17. Odin allowed them to retrigger Electro with Wong and Onslaught Citadel for like. It was absurd. I think they got 17 extra energy the next turn or something. Anyways, Odin can do some absurd things, but also Odin can miss a lot. So a bit of an inconsistent card, but still very strong. Same thing with Onslaught. Onslaught got nerfed recently, but the nerf wasn't a huge deal. I stopped a few specific combos. Still good in Kazar Zoo, but now you're super vulnerable to Enchantress. Maybe bottom of B here. Professor X, another very good ongoing card. Able to just like lock down a location and bam, you've won it. Gives you great intel, and I think it puts it in B tier. Punisher, this card struggles to get enough value. Maybe top of D. Occasionally has some use, especially if you're going for an early ongoing deck, but it loses a lot of value later on. Quicksilver, trash card. I wouldn't really ever recommend playing this. It's like horrible, honestly. It provides almost no value. It like reduces the consistency, and it's not that good. So I wouldn't like ever play this. Rocket Raccoon is okay. It's one of the better It's one of the better Guardians, but maybe bottom of C. Pretty underwhelming. The payoff isn't that good, but missing the payoff's not that bad either. So I guess I'll put it in like mid C. Obviously Scarlet Witch. Obviously you can see we're getting. I'm gonna zoom out. So we have obviously a lot of cards here, and we're gonna ideally add all the Marvel Snap cards. This video's dragging on a bit. Sorry about that, but Scarlet Witch, very good tech card. Bottom of B though, she doesn't necessarily make her way into a lot of lists. Sentinel, very consistent card, very good with Devil Dino. Just keeps your deck working pretty well. I'd say B. It's a bit of a weird card, but I think it can be very solid. Shocker, I don't know. This card is okay, I guess, but it's kind of like it's maybe bottom of C. Nothing special, but it's not the worst either. A Spectrum, it's only good in Patriot though. Actually, I'm gonna drop this down to like D. Maybe here. And then we have Spectrum. She's A, I guess. She buffs all your ongoing cards by 2, so she can give you like 8 power. But I don't know. She struggles to get massive stat lines, but she allows you to push 2 locations very well. And combined with stuff like Professor X and Destroyer, she's one of the best decks in the game. So very good. Spider Woman, another okay card. Probably put her in C. Not too impressive, but not bad either. Maybe bottom of C. Squirrel Girl now, we got a very good card for Flood and Destroy. Probably somewhere near the top of B. She just gets so big and it's very scary. She can push power into lanes. I mean, she doesn't get that big, but if you buff her with Kazar, she can get kind of big. So she can push power into locations you can't really get power into. She's very versatile. So I think she belongs in the B tier. Star-Lord we have here, who's pretty bad. Like I don't really think Star-Lord deserves to be in like any deck. So probably F tier, below, just above Groot, I guess. Strong guy, solid in discard decks. Maybe a Zoo decks as well. Loses a lot of value as you go on though. Maybe like top of C. Swordmaster, one in my opinion, one of the best arts in the game, but also a solid discard card. Not as good as Lady Sif. Maybe bottom of B. We see Thing here. The Thing, is this a good card? Not really. It's okay, but it doesn't feel that good to play. Maybe somewhere in D like this. Yeah, that's okay. Now, Uadu, this card is kind of bad. Like, don't really play it. You probably shouldn't ever play it. I guess it's better than Cyclops, but overall it's pretty bad. We see White Queen, an interesting card, which can get a solid amount of value in Devil Dinosaur decks and just guarantees that you have something to play later on. So I'd say it's a B. And a very solid B at that as well. Not that solid, though. We'll move it a few down. A White Tiger, another really interesting card. Can be played Mr. Negative. More importantly, though, can be played with Odin for some insane value. And on its own, it's solid value as well. So I'll put it in B, I think. It's certainly better than Ironheart. Ironheart, like, White Tiger is a bit of a worse stat line, but when it pops off with Odin, it's just insane. So it's B tier. Wolfsbane, similar idea of on reveal. I'd personally put her in. Wolfsbane probably is B. Very solid card, maybe around here. And then we have Wolverine. This card's bad. Like, it's pretty bad most of the time. So maybe top of F. Yondu, same idea. It can be played in Deathwave, but whatever. So this is the tier list. I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed making it, certainly, but there are obviously a lot of cards in Marvel Snap, and I'm gonna do a few more videos, hopefully shorter. One where I'm gonna talk about all the Pool 3 cards though, so that's gonna be long. But Pool 2, Pool 4, Pool 5 probably together, or series, not Pool, and then some other stuff. So overall, I hope you enjoyed. Obviously, there are a lot of value cards cards to play are the tech cards. Armor and Cosmore are super overpowered. Play Nightcrawler, Devil Dino, Carnage, Angela, all that good stuff. So I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.